Hi, welcome back to my channel, and I hope you're all having an amazing week. In this tutorial, I'm going to guide you step by step on how to make this cute crochet bow that you can turn into a cute back accessory or a keychain. If you're just starting out with crochet, I think this will be a great starting point because I will be covering all the basic techniques in a very detailed way. And I'm sure that after you follow this tutorial, your next crochet projects will become much easier for you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let's move on to the materials. So for this project, we will need medium-sized acrylic or cotton yarn, 5mm crochet hook, some scissors, and a darning needle. Alright, so the first step is to make a long chain. So to start a chain, we have to make a slip knot first. So hold your yarn like this in a U shape, then twist your yarn with your index finger to create a loop. And with your index finger and thumb, grab the shorter piece of yarn and pull through the loop. And now you have this loop, and we're gonna insert our hook and pull on the shorter piece of yarn. And there you have your slip knot. Make sure you pull the loop not too tight. It should be able to move freely on your hook. Before we start chaining, make sure your shorter piece of yarn is on your right hand and the longer piece of yarn is on your left hand, which is your working yarn, and we need the working yarn to make chains. So to make a chain, we're gonna grab our working yarn and we're gonna wrap around your hook, and then we're gonna grab the shorter piece of yarn with our left hand, and then we're gonna pull the working yarn through the loop on your hook. And now we have made our first chain, and I'm just gonna grab the shorter piece of yarn with my right hand to repeat the process. So we're gonna yarn over again, grab the shorter piece of yarn with your left hand and pull through, and now we have made our second chain. Make sure that when you pull through, your hook should be facing to the left. And now we're gonna repeat the same process around 60 to 80 times, depending on the size of the bow you want to make. I would say if you just want to make a keychain, then around 60 chains should be enough. If you want to make a back accessory and you want to tie it to your back, then 70 should be enough. This time I'm going to make 80 chains because I'm going to make a bow for my drinking cup, and the handle of my drinking cup is pretty thick. So here I'm making my last few chains, and I have made 80 chains in total. So the next step is to work into these chains all the way until the end. To do that, we will be making slip stitches into these chains. So to make our first slip stitch, we're gonna skip the first chain and work into our second chain, which is this one. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So here I'm just placing my thumb next to the second chain to make sure I'm working into the right chain. I'm going to insert my hook into this second chain, yarn over your hook, and then pull this yarn through the chain like this. And now you should have 2 loops on your hook, and then with the first loop on your hook, we're gonna pull it through the second hook loop of your hook, and there we have made our first slip stitch. And to make our next slip stitch, we're gonna move our thumb to the left until we see the next chain we're going to work into, which is this one. So now we're gonna repeat the same process. We're going to insert our hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through the chain. Now we have 2 loops, pull the first loop through the second loop, and there we have our second slip stitch. And also you should be able to see a big hole. That's the chain we have just worked into. We're gonna move our thumb again until we see the third chain. We're gonna insert our hook into the third chain, yarn over, pull through chain, and then pull through loop. And there's your third slip stitch. I'm gonna show you one more time. Insert your hook into the fourth chain, yarn over, pull through chain, pull through loop. And we're gonna repeat the same process until we have reached the end of the chain. So now here you can see I have 3 more chains left, which means I have to make 3 more slip stitches. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. The last chain is a bit smaller compared to other chains, which is completely normal. And the last chain tends to stretch out a little bit, so you have when you're making the slip stitch, pull on your yarn tail to tighten it. And now it should look something like this. So now we have finished our strap, and we're gonna cut off our yarn and just pull the hook away from your work to fasten off. And now you should be seeing 2 strands of yarn, and we need to hide these. So we're gonna grab our darning needle, and with your darning needle we're just gonna go over these little loops that you see. We want to make the as less visible as possible, going over these loops with my darning needle. And we're gonna repeat this all the way back. And now with my 2 strands of yarn, I'm just gonna create a double knot. Make sure it's really tight, and then cut off excess yarn. And now it should look something like this. And now I will show you 2 different ways to make the bow. Here I'm just tying it to my bag. This one might be a little bit easier. You also might want to adjust the bow a little bit to make it nice and even. And yeah, that is it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed making your bow. and that this tutorial has helped you improve your crochet skills. I have so many other crochet projects coming up, so if that's something that interests you, make sure to stick around and subscribe to the channel. That would make my whole day. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!